Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Welcome to the stream. Thank you guys very much for being here. Monica, CK Arbor, Barnabas, welcome. Thank you guys very much. Let's see. Let's go after some gnolls. I think the gnolls are going to be a little bit safer to start things off than the pillagers. So we'll run all the way up to the north and we'll check out that area. JC White, good morning to you, buddy. Welcome to the stream. We could do a little bit of fishing. We could. We'll go see what the gnoll situation's like first, and then we'll decide. We'll have water like right nearby if we want to fish. And apparently we never picked up the killing fields. Let's stop by the Saldean farm and grab that one as well. Barnabas, I'm glad you're enjoying them. I enjoy being here playing hardcore. It's definitely the most immersive version of the game for me.
Well met. Be careful. Light bless you.
Karen, good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. It looks like there's somebody else out here this morning killing gnolls. That's what it looks like. Let's do a /who. Yeah, we got 21 people within our level range running around here. And of course, somebody is going after the mobs we need. Which means they probably ran this way, which means they're probably like just a moment or so ahead of us. We're likely to find just a string of dead bodies. Well, then again, I see a living gnoll. That's a good sign. Richard, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Now the question I'm going to have to ask myself is, do I feel comfortable tackling this pack? How many are in there? There's 4 of them in there. They are level 11, we are level 19. I feel like we would be okay. I think we're going to go for it. Alright, we've got a bubble, we've got potions. Let's do a little bit of buff food. We should probably re-up our elixirs and our sharpening stone before I forget to do that. Mendy, Jory, good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for being here. Alex, good morning, man. Patrick, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream, buddy. That went remarkably well. It helps to have like a bazillion level lead on them. We have like an 8 level advantage. I thought there was one more. Maybe I must have looted mid-combat. Constantinos, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you being here. Now the big question, are we going to tackle this camp here? This is probably the biggest camp around. We got 5 enemies. Can we handle 5 of them at once? We should probably find out. Who's going to be the most dangerous? We probably want to take the shaman out first in case they can heal. Then it's just scouts. Okay, let's go for the shaman. Pop a potion. Couple of heals. Oh, we don't have consecration. We're not spec deep enough into holy. In classic era, you have to spec into consecrate. You don't just get it handed to you. I could spend the 1 point and I could grab it, but I'm not sure that I'm going to be tanking any dungeons, so it's not. I don't know if it's worth it. However, it was a little sloppy. I made a couple misclicks there, but it went okay. I could have handled it a little bit better. Oh, I was still waiting on lay on hands. You'd have been fine. You would have still had lay on hands. Yeah, like it might have been safer to lay on hands instead of trying to heal, but like having lay on hands in reserve, or even like having the bubble in reserve, like you can basically get out of trouble. Like if I thought we were gonna die, I probably would have bubbled and I would have just ran away, and it would have been fine. Especially in an area like this when you have clear lines of sight for your escape. Obviously, like, if you're in, like, a cave or something, it's harder to think that you can just run away, but out here we can run in basically any direction and we'd be okay. We were okay. I just handled it a little bit sloppily, so it looked scarier than it needed to. It's not out yet. No, it's March 5th. Yeah, we got, if some people haven't seen it yet, we got some sod news to talk about today. There was a pretty big Blue Post announcement yesterday afternoon. Like middle of the afternoon, all of a sudden, all their plans for sod completely changed. Probably responding to people dropping out of the season. Because it's such a big departure from what they planned, and they talk about so much stuff, that it seems like a reaction to something really important to them. So it seems like a reaction to people dropping out of the season. And the thing is, they're so close to fixing it, but they're just so dumb that they still didn't fix the problem or address the actual problem in any way. They addressed so many things, but they didn't actually address like the biggest problem of why I think a lot of people after 1 or 2 characters are done with sod. We'll talk about it in a little bit. The Blue Post killed sod. No, sod. Runes killed sod. Rune acquisition has killed sod. The cornerstone of like the fundamental basis for the season killed sod, and that's the one thing that they have not addressed yet. Because it must be really hard to like even conceive of it, because to them like rune acquisition is amazing, it's fun, it's exciting, it has awesome lore tidbits, they put their heart and soul into it, it must be really fun for people, but it's like they won't put themselves in the shoes of like the average player who has to have Wowhead open all day to track their runes down. They don't put themselves in the shoes of an average player who has an hour and a half every day to play. And you have runes. How long did it take us to get the Divine Storm rune? It took us 2.5 hours. It was 2.5 hours of traveling, running around, questing, fighting, to get a single ability. And that ability was the cornerstone of what made my class work. It was the cornerstone ability that made my class not feel like ass. But there are people that don't have a 2.5 hour session to even play the game. So you're talking about Classic WoW, which yeah, it takes a little while to level up anyway. And then to get all your runes, you're adding about 36 hours of gameplay. If you want to collect all 18 of your runes, it's probably going to take you anywhere between 36 to 45 hours of gameplay to do that. And that's what they're missing. That's what they don't seem to understand. is that people don't want to spend all that time hunting down the abilities that are going to make the class into the class that they wish they were playing, while they're stuck playing a different kind of class while they're waiting until they can become the class they want. Like letting people level up faster is not going to fix the problem. It's a band-aid that's like, it's like if we got cut on the arm and they put a band-aid on our leg. It's like, nice try, you tried, but you didn't fix the problem at all. If they want to fix the problem, they'll make the lower level runes trainable at your class trainer. They'll just get rid of rune acquisition for the prior level bands, and every time we get into a new level band, all the prior runes will be trainable at your class trainer. That way, when you're feeling like you have to catch up, you know, you're catching up on like 4 runes and not on 18 runes. You know, you can train the first 12. It would make your life a lot easier. The level 40 content is boring. Yeah, there's not enough to do at... So what they say... We'll take a look at it in a minute, and maybe we'll read some of it. But they basically say that for them, rolling alts is a big part of the Season of Discovery. This is their own words, okay? And we'll take a look shortly. But essentially they say that rolling alts is a huge part of the season for them. But they're not realizing, like, the way in which it's difficult to roll alts is not necessarily the time involved to level up. It's the rune acquisition, and then it's the fact that, like, yeah, you can level up a bunch of alts, but if you don't feel like there's anything for you to do, eventually you're going to stop doing that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Blood Moon, good afternoon. Buffalo Bill, welcome to the stream, buddy. Thanks for being here. Once we get somewhere safe, I'll pull up the blue post and we'll read a little bit of it. Let's get our last Nopal here, and we'll go from there. Because yeah, I do want to take a look at it. I read the first part, then I skimmed the rest of it. It was like 16 paragraphs. They talk about XP gains. They talk about everything besides rune acquisition. It's so crazy. It's almost like they're intentionally trolling us. They address every single part of the season, from leveling to level 60 loot. They talk about level 60 loot itemization and the things they'd want to do with it. But like, the one thing they don't talk about is how we get our abilities. And that it's effing annoying to have to spend 36 additional hours to make myself the class that I wanted to play when I started the season. Like, they just don't get it. Even Alex is getting burned out, Assad. And you haven't been playing like a lot, you know, and you're still getting burned out. If you are a one class, one character type of person, there is nothing in SOD for you to do at the level bands. Honestly, like, if you want to focus on one character, there's not really a point. Like, yeah, you could raid Nomergon, but why? Eventually you're going to start leveling up again, and it's not going to matter. You know, you're going to get to 60, and then the real endgame content is going to be at 60. That's the problem, I think, is like, the level bands were a okay idea. They were an okay idea, but I don't think that they work. I think that for a season of WoW, you just let us level up. You can have cool stuff to do along the way. You want to add some raids at level 25 and level 40, add them. Have them give a shit ton of experience the way the BFD raid now does. And let people do them through a looking through group tool, so that you don't have to organize it. Make the difficulty such that it's challenging, but that we can do it through an automated LFD tool. Make the dungeons LFD, and just let people level up all the way to 60. That's like the important part. Let people play their characters. Let people get into the endgame content. The purpose of the level bands was to allow them time to keep creating content. Like, they had to stop us every step of the way because they have to iterate on so much, because they have to change so much, and because they're still baking content for the later bands. And so, like, it's something that's disguised as being for us, but the level caps are really for the developers, you know, as they beta test all these concepts. I hate the level bands. I think that they're pointless. The level bands cause me to lose interest in all of my characters. Once I cap a character and there's not endgame content I want to do, I log out, I sit back, and then I don't think about that character again. Like, I just don't care. Because I'm not the kind of person that's going to be interested in the level 40 stuff, because I don't want to spend 36 hours getting all my runes. I just don't care. So for me, level bands combined with rune abilities and how we get our runes, like, basically killed the season. The two, like, cornerstones of the season in their minds are what for me killed it, and apparently maybe killed it for other people too, since they have done this emergency change and they're desperately trying to get people to come back and play alts. Because in their words, alts are a cornerstone of the season. We got nothing to cook. We have a lot of bandits. Let's do this. Let's come inside here where it's relatively safe. And we will make all of these bandages, and we'll pull up the blue post. I'll take a look at it in case some of you guys haven't seen it. I don't think I'm going to read all of it verbatim, but we'll take a look at parts of it. Boop. Okay, let's see. So, let's have a look. When we first concepted the Season of Discovery, we knew we wanted alts to be a major fixture of the experience. This is their own words. They want people to level up a bunch of alts. When the season started, I wanted to do this. I was sure that at least at level 25, I was going to have every class. Just to check them out, to see the class changes, to see what was cool, what was fun. I thought for sure at level 25 I can level up every class. I thought level 40 maybe I would take like my favorite 4 or 5 and maybe I'd get those to 40. So like what they wanted is also what I wanted. It would have been great to feel like I could level a bunch of alts and have fun doing that. And then they go on to say, and so we decided to add the XP buff. Okay, we know their original plan was to do, you know, exactly what they did. Only have the XP buff for the prior ban. So that was the plan, right? That's what they thought they were going to do. And then they must have seen just people dropping off. Like playership must have went down. Something happened because starting next week, March 5th, they are not. It's not just that they're adding the XP buff for 25 to 40. It's going to be 100%. So like following the original plan, 1 to 25 would have gotten 100% in the next phase, and then 25 to 40 would have gotten the 50%. And now on March 5th, we're simply getting 100% XP gains all the way to level 39, which is crazy. Like keep in mind, Season of Mastery, like it took them a long time to up the XP buff. Even in Season of Mastery, like the XP buff was the only thing in Season of Mastery that was in any way different, besides a handful of pieces off of raid bosses. And so yeah, that's coming. So right, guys, stop playing SOD. If you're playing SOD right now, you have now stopped. Like you're not playing SOD now. Like someone said, this post right here, like this kills SOD for now. Like it's dead for now. There's no reason to level your characters. There's no reason to do anything. Now you're waiting. You're waiting until the 5th of March to continue leveling up. 100% is a bit much. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit much in the sense that, like, you can't continue to 60, and there's not a lot to do at the level bands. So, yeah, like, 100% is a bit much. 50% all the way to 40 probably would have been okay. You know, I think a lot of people would have been okay with that. 100% bonus XP is a lot, especially to get you to 40. You know, you're going to get to 40 in, like, 20 hours. It's going to be pretty crazy. And then you're going to get to 40, and then... So you're going to get to 40 in 20 hours... And then you're going to have to spend 36 to 45 hours getting your fucking abilities. It's going to take you longer to get 18 runes than it will take you to get 40 levels. Am I the only person that sees something really, really wrong with that? It's going to take me maybe twice as long to get my class's abilities together to play the class I want to play. So I'm going to spend 20 hours leveling up the character that I don't want to play so I can get them to 40, so I can go back and spend 36 hours getting the abilities, following shit on Wowhead to finally make them the class I want them to be. And then I make them the class I want them to be, and then I have one raid to do that's a revamp of a 5-man dungeon. Why? Well, who cares? They didn't think it through. I think that they're afraid to think it through. I think that they can't accept that the thing that's stopping people from leveling alts is not necessarily the time it takes. It's the fact that no one wants to spend 40 hours getting their class abilities. You do it once on one character, maybe you do it again on another character, and by then you're like, well, shit, I would level a mage, but look at this. I gotta get a group together. I gotta travel to 7 different zones on 2 different continents. I gotta kill 9 elites. I gotta combine those items. Then I gotta go talk to 4 other... I don't even want to do it. And until they address that, like, people are not going to come back and play a bunch of alts. It's not going to happen. Also, like, these are some other weird things that they're doing that, no, I don't think anybody complained about these things, but here we go. This one makes sense. So they're reducing the amount of the cost of mounts, which when you're going to double people's leveling speed, you have to do this, right? So now, because we've doubled everyone's leveling speed, now we have to reduce the cost of mounts. But also, one of the weirdest things I've ever read, one of the weirdest changes I've ever seen, will be increasing the base gold from all quest rewards while players are 1 to 39. I've never seen anything quite like that. I've never seen them buff gold. It's really weird. Like, this might be in response to just how quickly you're leveling, you're doing less quests, so maybe they want to keep you, like, abreast of the gold that you would have. But it's really strange, and then of course that will not affect level 40. Going forward, we're also looking at leveling adjustments for when Phase 3 launches and the level cap raises. What this says right here is that as soon as the next phase launches, there's going to be an XP buff from 40 to 50, and it's probably going to be a 50% XP buff. So we're probably not going to have a release of a phase that doesn't also come with an XP buff. Now after this, you know, you're gonna level from 40 to 50 really fast, so you can get to 50 and do nothing. It's strange, right? Let's see. We'd also like to continue to make mid-phase adjustments. So not only are you gonna start with an XP buff, you might as well just wait until the middle of the phase, because you're gonna start with the 50%, but as we now know, they're gonna boost it. So there's no reason to play when a phase opens up. It's a waste of your time. If you are playing the game as the phases open up, you are fucking wasting your time. You've wasted a lot of time. Stop playing. Just wait. It's going to get shorter. The rewards are going to get better. You're going to get more gold. And the journey is going to go down to like a very small amount of time investment. So when the next phase launches to 50, don't play. They said right here that they're going to do mid-phase adjustments. So wait for a few weeks, and then you'll have a smoother journey. What else? Let's see. Raid size at level 60. They must be getting a lot of backlash about saying that all the raids are going to be 40-man raids, because they're going back and forth now on the raid size. Yet to be announced, level 50 raids will be 20 player experience. So you know how you have your 10-man group, you got your core people, you got your nice cozy 10-man raiding guild. No, now you gotta go recruit. Now you need 20. Now you gotta find 20 people. Molten Core will be a 20 player. So they went from, so like last week they said that the existing raids like Molten Core would stay 40-man. This is what they said. They said that those raids would stay 40-man raids, and already, because people like me hate 40-man raids, already Molten Core is now going to be a 20-player experience. So there's like so much back and forth, you know, like we joked about, you know, it's a beta test. It is a beta test. Every phase of the season is just like a really huge beta test, isn't it? And then they go on and on and on. Like, this is such a big like post to make on just like a Tuesday afternoon. It must have been they must have had a really big meeting, and people must have been like, hey, why are SOD player numbers in the shitter? And then the alarm bells went off, you know what I mean, for them to crank out all these changes and crank out a post of this magnitude like in the afternoon on a Tuesday. What else did we talk about here? Just lots about raiding, basically. When we set out to create our level up raids, we did feel that asking people to find 40 players would be a tall task. Yeah, no duh. Itemization changes. We currently plan to revamp many items from dungeons and raids, including the existing 20-player raids at level 60, adding new items across all phases of endgame. We have a ton of exciting playstyles that are new or traditionally seen as off-specs that have been given life. We want to itemize for them as well as for many different builds and play styles. So they're finally trying to make loot exciting. You know how like so far like loot has kind of sucked? Especially they need to go back and touch up 5-man loot, because 5-man loot is truly awful. And no one gets excited about the 5-man loot. We think that adjusting the quality of rewards to a more consistent level between different raid sizes could help provide a larger menu of activities. It's a huge post. Like, a lot of this whole last part here is talking about like raids and itemization and all that stuff. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Yep. Getting the XP buff does nothing for me. I had enough time to level up. I don't think a lot of people were upset with how long it took to level up. I didn't hear that feedback. I didn't have one person tell me, damn, I like SOD, but it takes too long to level up a character. Nobody said that. Nobody expressed that sentiment. I do have a lot of people saying that rune acquisition is boring and sucks. It needs to change. So, to each their own opinion, obviously. You think there's a lot to do at each level cap because maybe you're excited to do the same 2 dungeons over and over again in the same 1 raid. Like, if that's cool with you, that's your thing, you know. But you saying that you enjoy that does not change the fact that having 2 5-mans to do in 1 raid is not a lot of content. It's simply not for most people. But anyway, that's the update. So you can level up like, you know, twice as fast now. But you still got to get all your runes. So have fun with that. Yeah. That's all we're talking about. The runes are a pain in the ass. No one once said, oh man, it takes too long to hit 25. No one once said, oh man, it's taking too long to hit 40. Like, nobody expressed these things. People stopped leveling alts for one of 2 reasons. Either they did the endgame stuff they wanted to do on character 1, and they couldn't see a purpose to do the same endgame stuff on a second character, or the thought of having to go get all their runes for a second character was so fucking boring that they couldn't make themselves do it. And neither of those things gets addressed with any of the changes they're making. And I guess it's like time displacement. So yeah, instead of, you know, you save a little bit of time leveling up, you're going to have to take the time you saved, and that time you saved is going to go into getting your runes. So in a way, I guess it helps. I still don't want to go get my runes because I still think it's boring trash content that I'm not interested in. Like, I don't have fun getting them. I don't have fun opening Wowhead and reading a step-by-step guide on Wowhead. That's not fun gameplay to me. Having to do it 18 times per character to complete my character is fucking heinous. So that's why people are not leveling alts, because it takes so much time and effort to have a full character, and it's not fun time, and it's not fun effort, and it's not interesting time, and it's not interesting effort. You're just following a guide, step by step. Go here, click this, talk to them, go here, fight this. It's not fun. It is not fun. That's it. I'm done. I mean, yeah, I've talked about all this before. The reason I quit SOD was because of rune acquisition. It had nothing to do with how long. I thought that like the leveling was fast. We leveled the Pally through dungeons in like a handful of days from 25 to 40. Like, it felt really, really speedy. 1 to 25 with the XP buff felt really, really speedy. Like, wrong. The level bands are open for so long before the next one comes out that nothing felt wrong about the speed with which we were leveling. That was fine. Like, I didn't hear that as feedback a single time on any day that we were playing SOD. So I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Or like, I think that it's probably really hard for them to accept that people don't like runes. It has to be that. To the average player, the problem is that like a rune was never a discovery. You know, the devs thought, oh, this amazing thing, people are going to go out into Azeroth and they're going to explore it like they never have before, and they're going to find these amazing abilities along the way. No player had that experience. There's like the first couple of runes you can get at a very low level that you can come across naturally and be like, oh shit, what's this? Oh dang, is this for me? There's a very few of them. And even some of those, you have to figure out what the hell you're expected to do. I think about like the creatures frozen in ice. So when I came across one of those in my shaman, like it made sense after a minute. I was like, oh, okay, this dude is in ice. Maybe I use a fire spell. Look how smart I am. You use a fire spell, nothing happens. You know, after 10 minutes of trying that, I have to look it up. And when I look it up, I find out, oh, I need to invite some more people with fire spells. One fire spell is not enough. It's not enough. So without looking it up, I probably would have just given up on it and thought, oh, okay, that's not what I do. I'll just it must not be for me. But you know, even some of the simple ones, you have to look up to see like exactly how they work. Yeah. And now, yes, exactly. And now that you're gonna level up so fast now that there is no along the way. There is no discovering things organically in the big world that you're adventuring through. Because with an experience buff that's 100%, you're gonna zip through zones. You're not gonna even quest. As soon as you can get into dungeons with 100% XP buff, you're just gonna grind dungeons. But even if you were to quest, you're going to go through the zones like so rapidly that you're not going to find discoveries. What you're going to do is what everyone has done since day one. You're going to have your Wowhead tab open on your second monitor, you know, and you're going to be looking there, or you're going to be using Questy for the low level stuff and just scanning your map in Questy. Oh, look, a rune. Oh, look, you know. And that's it. There is no discovery, and it holds people back from wanting to play alts. If they want to address why are people not playing alts, they need to give you the first 12 runes on your class trainer. Because at this point, like fundamentally for your class, it's the first 12 runes that really help to shape you into the class that you want to be. And then the newer runes are like, they're nice to have, they're supplemental, they boost your spec. But you really need your first 12 for that spec identity. And so if they want to let you level alts, they would let you train those abilities on your class trainer. And then I think a lot of people would level alts. If I could trade my 1 to 12 runes on my class trainer, I would go back and level up my mage right now. We would go back, we'd get that mage leveled up on Lone Wolf, so that at level 60 I can play with my guild. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not going to do that until either level 60 is opened up all the way, or they fix how I get runes. Giving me an insane XP buff is not going to get me to come back, because I'm gonna be in the same situation that I'm currently in. I'm going to be leveling a character that isn't the class that I want him to be until I hit the max level and I go back and I get all the runes I need. Until then, I just have to play whatever it is. Frost Mage, Fire Mage, whatever I happen to be able to do. I'm stuck with that until I hit 40. And then I'm stuck with it until I go back and spend 40 hours getting all the abilities I need. So yeah, it's not going to bring me back. Am I ranting again? Yeah, I mean, I often rant on this channel. Who would have thought? Yeah, we were ranting about the big blue post from yesterday. Blizz put out a big, enormous blue post with a bunch of changes for SOD, so that is what we're ranting about this morning. Also, you want people to play alts. Could you please give us dual spec? You want to make characters interesting to play? Like, can I please fucking have dual spec in this season of WoW? Why am I waiting to have dual spec? Why can't you just give it to me and let me have it? So yeah, you know, it's been a fun beta test, but I'm kind of done beta testing for them for the time being. There have been so much changes at every single level band. Like, think about what waylaid supplies used to be, and think about what waylaid supplies are today. Think about, like, you know, the original plans for the XP bonuses, and now where we've gotten to. It's like so in, like, if this much has changed already, then you can basically assume that, like, stuff is going to keep changing this rapidly into the future. And it just makes it very unpredictable. And, like, more than that, it makes you think, like, maybe the best thing to do is wait. Like, yes, I could play now. I could level up a character now. Or I could wait. And I could see it when it's more done. It's kind of the same as choosing to play a beta test or not, you know. It's like choosing to play a game in early access or waiting until the game hits 1.0. I would, if I'm going to spend a lot of time with a game, I would rather play it once it hits 1.0. I don't have a ton of interest in dumping a bunch of time, like, into a beta test or into a 0.9 version of a game that will eventually actually be done. And I think level 60 is when it's done. I don't think it's done before then.
For the Alliance.
And that's it. That's all I got. I won't talk about it anymore unless you guys have, like, questions or thoughts or whatever. Yeah, you are. You're all test rats, yeah. You're beta testers. You're just beta testing different ideas. Like, like, we kind of already knew that. I guess, like, what I wasn't expecting was so much to change, like, in the middle of a phase. You know, I guess we always knew that there would be changes. Like I thought, like, class balance, yeah, like, class balance would always be a work in progress. But I didn't think that, like, things, like, very fundamental about the way the season was going to flow, I didn't think, like, that kind of stuff was going to change. I never thought they would just, like, go back on their XP gains plan and say, okay, screw it, 100% bonus to 1 to 40, and you know what, when 50 opens up, we'll give you an XP bonus for that too. Like, I never expected that. I thought it was, like, a pretty decent plan how they had it worked out. But then I also didn't anticipate, like, how much I would hate the artificial level caps. I thought the artificial level caps, when I thought I was going to play a bunch of alts, I liked it. When I realized that I wasn't going to be able to play a bunch of alts, then the artificial level cap really, really started to suck.
Be careful. See you around.
Like, it was so sad. When I capped my Pally at 40, I was super into the character. You know, we'd gotten her the runes that I wanted to have. I finally felt decent about where the character was at. And it was like, well, I mean, unless you're going to go raid or unless you're going to go PvP, you might as well log out. And so I logged out. Because I wasn't going to be able to raid right then. And I don't really want a PvP. So there was nothing to do but log out.
See you around.
Alright, let's head over and we'll take on the looters and the pillagers. Martin, there was like 2 weeks where I was streaming retail. Like a week and a half. I stream retail sometimes. Right now, the Paladin, I'm going to finish the Pally as a recorded series. And then once I get the Pally to cap, we might do some streams to, like, gear up the Pally. Or I might gear up the Frost Mage. I kind of have to decide which one I want to focus on. But yeah. Yeah, I was playing the Demon Hunter, but I got really bored of the Demon Hunter. I think I'm gonna keep like the retail characters I have are good. I think I got the Shaman, I got a Warlock, I got a Mage, and I'm gonna have the Paladin. And I think that's gonna be enough characters at cap to figure out what I want to do for War Within. Yeah, in retail, it's easy just to level up a character through the old world content. Like, do what I do. Grab Cataclysm Time Walking, and just level up through the old world content and get used to the class. And you know, you'll get into Dragonflight content, and then you don't really have to like do any endgame stuff if you don't want to. But it's enjoyable to level up a class through the old world stuff. If you find a class that you like, you have to find a class that you actually enjoy. But that's true in like any version of the game. Have I tried every class in retail? No, not yet. No, we've got Shaman at 70, Warlock at 70, Mage at 70. I got the Evoker to like 67 and decided it wasn't my thing. And eventually we'll have the Paladin at 70, and I think that's going to be enough for me. I think that's like a good sampling. I really like the Frost Mage. I really like the Warlock specs, and I really like the Paladin and Shaman. So like, I have a bunch of classes that I really like, and I think I'm going to be good with that. I didn't have fun on the Rogue, I didn't have fun on the Demon Hunter, so like I've played a couple classes that I'm able to like exclude because I wasn't having fun on them. Yeah, I thought about the Warrior, but I don't know if I don't know. After my experience with the Demon Hunter and my experience on the Rogue, I'm wondering if I don't like melee classes as much in retail. The Pally seems a little different. The Pally is throwing his shield, he's slamming down consecrates, he's judging. Like, the Pally feels like a little bit more than just a melee class. Whereas, like, the Demon Hunter and the Rogue felt like a straight up melee physical damage class. And neither of them were any fun. The attacks all feel like light and airy, like my cute little sword sound. Like, there was no oomph to any of the abilities. I didn't sense any like impact. They just didn't register with me. And I kind of worry that the Warrior might be the same way. It feels like in retail I gravitate more towards caster classes, which is the opposite of classic. Part of it is sound effects, part of it is sound design, part of it is like how the abilities look. I really don't know what it is. Like casters are like much more fun to play in retail. Like right now, like the funnest characters that I have are the Mage, the Paladin, and the Shaman in that order. And then the Demon Hunter was boring. The Rogue was really boring. The Caster Druid, that was the one example of kind of like a boring rotation. Like, I didn't like the flow of the Balanced Druid. Destruction Warlock was amazing. Like, hurling the giant Chaos Bolts was a lot of fun. The Warrior does feel heavier than the other melee classes. I may try it eventually. I'm gonna keep it as a recorded series. So like, after I cap the Paladin, maybe I'll start a series with the Warrior. And then if we do some streams in retail, I'd like to have us gear up our favorite character, which right now might be the Paladin. It's close between the Paladin and the Frost Mage. My Shami already has decent gear. Yeah, with a war, go with an off-the-wall race. I don't have any good races on the Alliance side. Like the only allied races I have are the Void Elves and the Lightforged Draenei. Because like back when allied races were a big thing, I was a Horde player. So I have all my Horde side allied races. But I don't have Cultirans, I don't have Mechanomes. What else am I missing? I feel like there's like at least one other race I'm missing. Oh, Dark Iron Dwarves, like, and they're not really interesting to me either. I have basically zero interest in Dark Iron Dwarves, and basically zero interest in Mechanomes. So they just aren't really interesting to me. I wouldn't mind a Cultiran, but I don't have them unlocked. I got into like the middle of the long-ass quest chain to unlock them, and like... It was such a long quest chain that I actually got worried that somehow I had started just to do random BFA level up quests. I started to like second guess myself. I couldn't read the tracking well enough to understand if I was still trying to unlock the Cultirans or if I had simply started to do random BFA quests. So I abandoned it like midway through and never got them unlocked. Do I have a hunter? I leveled up a hunter to level 50 back during Shadowlands. Like I was a human hunter. And that was during the time when I leveled up a character, it was with no intention of taking them to Shadowlands. So they would stop at level 50. So I don't know where that character is though. To be fair, that character is not on my current realm. That character's probably back on like Zul'jin or something. Yeah, tanking on the Pally is fun. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to tank like long term, you know, because I feel like, ooh damn, pop a potion here and get a heal. I feel like there's too much pressure on tanks in retail. I feel like there's a lot of aspects of retail that are just like not friendly for grouping. So like I don't know if I'll actually tank like real content in retail. Maybe in War Within. Maybe if I start an expansion and I get my legs under me a little bit and I get used to the 5-mans. And I just get like really comfortable with the 5-man content, then I wouldn't mind it. But like I would never try to jump into like tanking Dragonflight stuff because I don't know the Dragonflight dungeons at all. And there's an absurd like expectation for tanks that you're gonna know like all the skips, you're gonna pull 70 mobs at once and know just when to stop. Like I don't know all that shit, and I'm not interested. I'm not interested in watching a bunch of videos about how to run a 5-man dungeon and like where this week's skips are at. Like I just don't care. So like maybe in War Within I would tank, but probably not Dragonflight stuff. I didn't grab the compass quest. We will have to come back for that at some point. And Primordial, good afternoon, buddy. Welcome to the stream. You know, the other funny thing about them boosting the XP gains to 100% in sod, think about the sleeping bag. Think about your little 3% bonus to XP sleeping bag. Like, what is 3% bonus in the face of 100% bonus? It's kind of nuts. Oh, this was probably not a great pull. Let's kill this caster fast, and then maybe we can heal. Jose, yes. Yeah, if you go back to near the beginning of the stream. Yeah, I start ranting about it like 10 or 15 minutes in. I've already we pulled up the blue post. I skimmed the blue post. I complained about everything I could. Yeah. I've already done all that. My TLDR opinion is that an XP bonus is not going to compel people to level up alts. The only thing that's going to compel people to level up more alts, it's twofold. The first thing is make runes and abilities easier to get. Shouldn't take 40 hours to get all 18 of your abilities. Also, like, there's just not really enough to do at the level caps for casual players. TLDR. TLDR, rune acquisition still sucks. They didn't address it at all or even talk about it. And for like a casual player, there's just not enough to do at the artificial level bands. Maybe consider just removing the level bands completely and letting us level to 60. Like, I don't know. That's it. And the thing is, like, I would be willing to accept that they only make it easier for the past tier runes. So like 1 to 25. Give me those runes, okay? Just let me train them, and then I'll hunt down the 25 to 40 ones. You know, I'll hunt down the few that you add in the subsequent level bands, but you have to start giving people the prior ones for free, especially in an environment where they're going to level up 100% faster. Like, when you're going to level up that quickly, just let us train the 1 to 25 runes for our class, please. They already have levels associated with them. So simply make them trainable at your class trainer at those levels. And then once I get to 40, I'll hunt down the few runes I need for the new level band. You know, and then when the 50 phase comes out, let me train my 25 to 40 runes on my class trainer at their levels. Since I'll be leveling so quickly, it won't be a big deal, you know. And then for the level 50 stuff, I will be happy to go find the few that I want. And so, like, until they do that, until they do something to make getting your runes a little bit speedier, I don't think many people are going to play alts just because there's a huge XP bonus. You know, or they will, or they'll burn through a bunch of alts, they'll park them, they'll burn out on the game, get sick of it, and they won't come back for the level 60 stuff. Just start making them drop. Yeah, start making them, they can make them drop. Like, it could be random drops in dungeons and raids. I think it's cleaner just to train the old ones. It just is so much cleaner just for the old ones. Let us train them. They're not discoveries anymore. Okay, the discovery part, it didn't work out. It didn't work out like you wanted it to begin with. And that whole sense of discovery that existed for the 7 people who write for Wowhead, like, those 7 people got to have some discoveries. And now that's over. And like everyone else who wants to play WoW, we just want to play our class the way that we see that we can. People who want to play Warlock tanks, they just want to level up a Warlock and they want to tank on it. You know, people that want to heal on a Mage, they want to level up the Mage and they want to start to heal on it. They don't want to have to wait till they're max level, get a group together, travel around, spend 36 hours getting their abilities. Like, they just want to level up the character. And then they want to play it the way they want to play it. And like, eventually, maybe these developers will figure it out. I think they're just kind of in denial. I think they're in denial about the fact that, like, at best, players they're ambivalent about runes. At best. At best, a player doesn't hate collecting them. At worst, it stops someone from leveling an alt. But I don't think there are many players out there who love getting runes. I don't think there are many players who really enjoy opening up Wowhead and reading it and going where it says to go, and then going to the next place it says to go, and then getting on a boat in 6 flight points. I don't think there are many players who really super enjoy that gameplay. There are players who don't mind doing it. They don't care. They're like, well, it's going to take me 3 hours to get this rune, but that's okay. I have the time. And so those people are fine with it. Then there are people like me who find it so boring and tedious and just busy work that I literally won't level another character right now. So, like, I'm at one end of the spectrum, and the people who don't mind are at the other end. But I don't think there are many people who like it, who love it, who think it's great. And I think the developers need to fucking address that. And more than address it, they need to accept it. They need to accept that people are not excited about these discoveries. They just want them so that they can play their class the way they want to. Shadow, you wouldn't mind getting runes if you can get around a little easier? Well, there you go. That's exactly my point, is like what you said there, like the spirit of what you said was that you wouldn't mind getting runes if it didn't take as much fucking time. Yeah. If it wasn't a long, boring journey to places you've been before, following a guide the whole way, Like, if it took less time, you wouldn't mind yeah, me too. You know, how many characters did I log into where I pulled up, I looked at the cornerstone rune, the rune I needed to have to play how I looked at it. It was like 17 paragraphs of shit, and I was like, no. I don't want to spend 3 hours going after another rune ever again. It took me 2.5 hours to get Divine Storm. It took about an hour and a half to get Art of War. Like, okay, cool, but I'm not going to do that 18 times on 8 different characters. It just isn't fun. It's a waste of my time, and more importantly, it's boring. It's a waste of my time, and it's boring. We got into some unexpected trouble there. I think we must have missed like 17 times on the pillar. We just couldn't kill the caster. I don't know if it was that we got disarmed back to back or exactly what it was, but it was not good. Yeah, there's some, and yeah, Blood Moon, to your point, there are so many other little things too that are wrong with the season, right? It's not just that rune acquisition is boring garbage gameplay. There are so many little things wrong. And none of the things that are wrong had much to do with how fast it was to level up. I feel like people were generally fine with how long it was taking to level up. I didn't even see a lot of people complaining about the gold cost. Like, they fixed some things that no one was complaining about, but there are so many big and little things that people have been vocal about that they did not address at all in their post. They went on for 7 paragraphs about what itemization might be like at level 60, and what their plans might be to make loot more interesting at level 60. It was like 7 paragraphs. But they didn't talk about summoning stones. And they didn't talk about runes. And they didn't talk about like any idea of like just having discoveries that were not just your class abilities. They didn't talk about like any kind of content for solo players. They didn't talk about any kind of quality of life to help people run dungeons or do raids. There's so many like big and little things that are problems that people are vocal about that they just haven't addressed. And meanwhile, they're addressing stuff that nobody was vocal about. Yeah, exactly. When you go on for 7 paragraphs about how cool the loot is going to be at level 60, that's not going to bring people back now. Exactly. In the first sentence, they say, one of our biggest goals of the season is to promote the playing of alts. And then all they do is give an XP buff, and then they talk about level 60 itemization for 7 paragraphs. Like, that has nothing to do with people being excited to play alts. In fact, like all versions of WoW, only a small percentage of people are going to hyper engage in the level 60 endgame. It's going to be a small portion of people, like it always is. Compared to the amount of people who level characters, the amount of people who do raiding at endgame and chase gear, it's a small number. But it seemed to be like the biggest thing on their mind. But not a peep about summon stones, not a peep about like any quality of life stuff. It's kind of daunting. Yeah, no one's 60 yet. Why do we care? So, like, wait, like, we know the loot was going to be bad. The loot was going to be so bad that they had to tell us now that they're going to fix it. Yeah, and they talked a little bit about, about improving loot, like, across the board. So, like, what I read was that they would also look at improving loot from, like, Nomergon, loot from BFD. Like, they didn't seem to mention 5-mans and, like, how garbage most loot is in 5-mans. They've changed a couple of things. Like in Scarlet Monastery, there are a handful of pieces that they changed. So you'd think they would talk about 5-mans as well. And just making loot exciting for people who are gearing up like pre-raid. Because most people never get post-raid. Most people start as pre-raid and they end as pre-raid. And if they're lucky, they get into a raid a couple times. But a lot of people are never at a point where they're farming gear from raids. So making the loot more exciting for people that are only going to run 5-mans, that could promote more people to play alts. If I just knew that like along the way on my leveling journey, like the loot was going to be more exciting. I was going to see gear that I had never seen before, and stuff like that. You think having a mount at level 20 make it less gold? Maybe that would help in like the long rune acquisition. I feel like it's a half measure, but like any measure would be good at this point. You know, at a point when you're already willing to boost XP 100%, why not just let me have my mount early? Like you're already saying that you want me to have a smaller journey. So yeah, why not do some other things to help me with quality of life? What about when it takes 40 minutes for everyone to run to a 5-man? Like, where's my time-saving quality of life there? Where are my summoning stones? Where's my automatic queue that teleports me there? Like, if you really want to save me time, and you really want to add quality of life, there are so many things you can add that need to come along with, like, such a big XP bonus. You can then go after the sleeping bag on alts. But listen, with a 100% XP bonus, you don't need the sleeping bag. You don't need it. You don't need it anymore, you know? And also, like, keep in mind, like, they basically flat out said that when the 50 level band opens up, you will have an XP bonus of some kind from 40 to 50. Like, they as much as said so. So, like, you're not going to need that sleeping bag anymore. That sleeping bag was supposed to make you feel a little good. Just a little bonus to make you feel better, or make you feel warm inside when you were leveling through like the current level band that had no XP buff. That's what the sleeping bag was for. It was for just like that little bonus for the times when you don't have an XP buff. But now you're always going to have an XP buff. You're always going to have a chunky XP buff. And so you don't need the bag. All that 3.5 hours it took to get the bag, like, that was wasted time. More wasted time. Because now I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm not going to use it. I'm already getting 100%. I'm getting 100% bonus for doing nothing. I didn't do anything. Now I'm going to get 100% XP bonus. The sleeping bag was from a time when they were going to stick to their plan. The sleeping bag was from a time when they were going to only have an XP bonus for prior tiers. And that's no longer the case. And yeah, so like something happened, you know. My guess is simply that player numbers over the last week or so have fallen way off. And somebody higher up on the leadership team started to ask, why is this happening? People are supposed to be excited about SOD. Why are we seeing a huge drop-off in active players? And they're like, oh man, we better figure out how to get people to come back and play alts. And all they came up with was an XP bonus and promises of exciting gear in 20-man raids that only 5% of the population is going to do. So I don't know, maybe we'll hear more like by the end of the week. I don't know. Mic is too loud. I'm too loud, but I'll turn it down a little bit. How's that? I notice I'm peeking into the red a little bit. That should be a little better. I am being loud this morning. That doesn't help anything. I'm going to leave it right there. Let me know if it's still too loud. Have I noticed that I'm done with this quest? No. I'm killing all these people. Nobody gets to live. Nobody gets to live. Okay, we'll leave. You hope they're learning from this to make Season 2 a lot better. What I've learned is not to bother playing the next season until we're about halfway through. That's what I learned, is that there's going to be no... whatever I'm doing when the next season comes out, I should keep doing that. And then once the season's been out for about 3 months, that's like a better time to try to get into it. Because especially if they're going to do different things with each season, they're obviously going to change so much. It's gonna look drastically different. You are playing a beta test, and by level 60 band opening up, the season will look like it's in some kind of final state. But until you get close to that, there's no reason to play. Like, even let's assume that they don't do level bands next time. They let you level all the way to 60. Same thing. You're better off just waiting a couple months. Because we know for sure that if you wait a couple months, you're going to get a huge ass experience buff. And who knows what else will change. You're going to get a gold buff. You're going to get a cheaper mount. Like, so just don't play. That's what I learned. Is that when the next season comes out, I shouldn't play it for like 2 or 3 months. Or play it for the first week or so and then stop. Like, check it out, see what it's like. Oh, cool, a new season. Lots of hype, people excited, playing the game. Let's go. Play for a week and then stop. And then let the character sit.
Greetings.
And then come back to it after a couple months.
Light bless you.
And everything will be improved. Everything will be different. Everything will be more in line with like what people want.
Need help?
And yeah, that's the big takeaway. Will they continue SOD after 60? Well, they've promised like additional content, and if you look at the roadmap says that, you know, level 60 band is released, and then it says that later on down the line we get new endgame content. So yeah, they have plans for more endgame content like further on after 60's opened up for a while. You know, whether that'll come to fruition or not at this point, like, who knows?
Good day to you.
If playership is way down, they might not have the budget to make that content. Because we know they haven't made it yet. We know the content doesn't exist right now. So who knows what will happen. We need to do some smelting. We can go make a bunch of copper bars.
Safe travels.
And then I guess we have to go to Red Ridge to follow up here at some point. What else do we got? We got to go back to Loch Modan. Yeah, I think Loch Modan might be our next step. Oh yeah, they have plans, but I mean, if people stop playing the game, then those plans, obviously what we've seen is that their plans can and will change. So them being able to make content for the game requires that people are playing the game. And yeah, I think that huge update we got yesterday is a pretty big indicator that not as many people are playing SOD as they want. I think it'll run its course. I think that level 60 will open up and they'll get to do some stuff with it. I just don't know like how much stuff they're going to get to do. And then, you know, when do we see another season? It was 2 years from when Season of Mastery like began and quickly ended before we had another season. So if you can only expect a season every 2 years, like, firstly, that's not seasonal content. Secondly, you're not going to hold anybody in your game if you're only putting content out every 2 years. It's basically like waiting for an expansion at that point. It's like waiting for an expansion that's not nearly as robust as an expansion, which is not going to feel good for lots of people. Theodore, good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know. Are any of you guys going to go back to SOD, or are you excited for March 5th when you get your big XP bonus? Like, is that exciting to anybody? Is anybody actually like looking forward to going back? Or just maybe not going back, but maybe you're still playing SOD and maybe you're just excited to play another character. Like, maybe this does like make some people happy. I don't know. I never saw anybody complain about how long it took to level up. So like, I don't know like how an XP bonus can excite people. I remember in Season of Mastery, the day they put the XP bonus from 50% to 100% was the day I stopped playing Season of Mastery. Because it just like, A, it invalidated all the other time I spent with the game leveling up, and B, like, there was going to be no real journey, like, it suddenly wasn't appealing at all. Yeah, maybe some people are gonna like it. I don't know. The only thing that I can think that I would do with it is that at this point, maybe I would get a paladin leveled up on Lone Wolf, so that I can actually play the class I want to play with my guild. That would probably be the only thing that I would do. And the only reason I would do that is because I've gone after Divine Storm once, and I know exactly what's going to be involved to get Divine Storm, and I've gone after Art of War once, and so I know exactly what's going to be involved in Art of War. So like, having had the experience with it, like, maybe I would level up a Pally really quick, just to have a Pally on Lone Wolf. I think that's really all I would think to do. And that would not necessarily be exciting for me. I would be doing that with the idea that potentially I could have fun at level 60 with the guild. That would be the only reason that I would be doing it. I would not be doing it because I'd be excited to have the XP bonus, or because it would be fun to get back into the season. I would be doing it with the hope that maybe, possibly, sometime in the future, the season might be fun for me at level 60.
Hello.
And I would like to experience that on a Pally. And I'd like to be able to play with the guild. And that would probably be all I would do. Yeah, no, Roger, exactly. I'm with you there. Yeah, I felt like they had it nailed. I felt like they already had it nailed. I felt like giving people in the prior level band, giving the people in the prior level band the XP buff made sense. And keeping people in the current level band without an XP buff made sense. Because the people who are playing continuously, you get to have the normal journey, the big journey that you want out of Classic. Giving everybody 100%, like, it's just like, okay, great. And now at no point do you get to have a big journey. I'm back to hardcore, right? Yeah, Christy, if you like PvP, then you got stuff to do. Like, if you're a PvPer and you enjoy doing those events, then absolutely. And yes, staying on one tune, the funny thing is, like, staying on one character is the way to go. Because rune acquisition sucks. Like, nobody wants to go get those runes. Again, 18 of them on every class. So if you find a class that you just love, and you like PvP, then you're good. You're probably having a decent time. Because there's good progression, I think, like with PvP. You can get some pretty good gear. And it's probably great. But yeah, if you're a casual player, if you're a solo player, and you mainly focus on PvE, but you're not in a raiding guild, or maybe you don't really want to raid, there's not a lot for you to do except roll an alt. And rolling an alt is really unappealing in the season. Just start selling max levels. That's a bit far, but yeah, I mean, no, they're not going to sell, they're just giving it away basically. Like, how long did it take us to get to 40? What was our slash played? I feel like the slash played on the Paladin was... It must have been like 35 hours. Maybe 40 hours? I'll have to check. I'm gonna check. Because it wasn't a huge amount of time. And if you cut that in half, then you can get to 40 in like 20 hours. That's like no gameplay at all, basically, for Classic. It's kind of nuts. Guys, I'm gonna bio. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take advantage of the flight point, and I'm gonna step away for 1 second. we will do this, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Yeah, Blood Moon, that's the other big thing that, like, I don't know how much they think about it when they do these things, is like when they so quickly make things easier to achieve, it makes people feel like the effort they put in has been invalidated. Like, yeah, like if you just purchased your level 40 mount, if you leveled up a character through each phase and you didn't have the experience buff in either phase, and you just leveled them up, and you saved up for your mount, and you bought your mount, then all of a sudden they're like, hey, on March 5th, all this shit is gonna be twice as easy. You're like, oh, that feels really bad. It feels really bad, and it leaves you in a weird position. Because, like, you could say, well, that's good, I guess. Future characters will be easier, but especially if you're a person who focuses on, like, one or two characters, and you've done that journey with them and put your time in, and then for them to say, well, now it's going to take half as long. You're like, oh, great. Okay, well, I guess I should never have played in the first place. I should have always waited. It just gives you a weird... That's how it was when they did that in Season of Mastery. When it went from 50% to 100%, I was like, oh, great. Hey, in 3 more months, it'll be 200%. I guess I just shouldn't play. And I stopped playing. I never logged back into Season of Mastery after that day. I was on I had picked up a Tauren Shaman. And I decided to level up a Tauren Shaman to have a Horde side character because we got our Human Warrior to 60. And I knew I wasn't going to 40-man raid, so I thought, let's go on another big journey. Slightly smoother journey with the 40% XP, but then they put it up to 100. As soon as they did that, I was done with the season. Yeah, like finding something like, yeah, like you come across a piece of clothing on the discount rack that like last week you bought at full price. Right, it just makes you, it's an icky feeling. Because you feel kind of stupid. Like, you're like, oh man, I got had. They got me to put in all this time and spend all this gold, and now they're making it easier for everybody who wasn't playing. Yeah, you feel like you've been had. It's an icky feeling. Let's see. We could go after these guys on the islands, but I'd rather go after the shaman on the islands. Let's run down to the south and knock this one out. And then we'll worry about doing stuff over here on the other side of the zone. You got Activisioned. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Yeah, I just don't know. Like I said, I'll take it as an opportunity, I guess, to level something up on Lone Wolf so that one day I can play with the guild. But I don't know that it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, I'm going to do it hoping that I have fun later. That's all. Well, Matthew, they explained that they want people to play alts. What their reasoning was, they said that for them a big cornerstone of the season was that they wanted people to play a bunch of alts. That was like the second sentence of their blue post. And so they're doing it with the idea, that an XP bonus will encourage people to do that. Now, in a normal version of the game, it might. In a normal, like when they used to do Joyous Journey events for Wrath of the Lich King, when they would do before it had Joyous Journeys all the time. Let's think about this. When they used to do it as a limited time event in Wrath of the Lich King, it brought people in. I leveled a couple of characters during Joyous Journey events, and it was always busy. You could tell people came back to the game for it. It wasn't a 100% bonus, it was a 50% bonus. It was enough to come back for, but it didn't really invalidate the entire journey through the game. Also, it was a limited time thing, so it kind of compelled you, like you had a little bit of FOMO, act now, come back and play for 4 weeks, you'll get the XP buff, it'll be fun. And that's in a normal version of the game, you know what I mean, where you're just leveling up to have a journey, you're leveling up to get to max level, whatever your motivations are. But SOD is not a normal version of the game. SOD is very different. SOD has an artificial level cap, which means you can only take your character so far. SOD has runes. Many of these runes take 1, 2, 3 hours to get your new abilities. You have 18 of them per class. So, 2 times 8, let's say a rune takes on average like an hour and a half to 2 hours to get. You times that by 18, you're looking at 30 hours, 40 hours of mandatory gameplay. That isn't very exciting, that the XP bonus doesn't help with at all. So I think for a normal version of the game like Retail or Wrath, an XP bonus that's a limited time can bring people back. Look at what happened in Wrath of the Lich King. Like, as soon as Wrath of the Lich King had the permanent Joyous Journeys, that was when the game was dead, basically. Nobody was really playing it. Game was basically dead. You log in now, you got Joyous Journeys, but nobody's leveling up because nobody cares. Sometimes a permanent XP bonus to a game like this kind of just kills the game. Because it makes the existing people feel like their journeys have been invalidated. And it can make other people feel like, there's gonna be such a short journey. Why bother? And also the idea, why bother if I wait longer, it'll get easier. That's the other thing to consider. Like, yeah, right now we got 100% XP buff, but hey, if I wait another 2 months, maybe it'll be 200%. So maybe I don't come back now. So I don't know. I don't think it retains people in SOD or brings them back the way that it might in another version of the game. No matter what they do, the player base will never be happy with it. Well, that's easy to say. It's more accurate to say, like, no matter what they do, some people will not be happy. Yeah, absolutely. No matter what they do, some people won't be happy. The reason that I'm not happy is because they made some changes, but they didn't address the actual problems that stop people from leveling alts. I would not be mad about the XP bonus if they did the XP bonus and they made it easier to get my old runes. I would call that a big win. So that's the problem. It's like, when they do something for a purpose, but they do a half-assed measure, that is going to agitate people a lot more than if they actually solve the problem. If they actually solve the problem they say they want to solve, you'd be more forgiving of some of the shit they do. Like, I'm not going to get on their case for doing 100% XP buff if they actually fix the problem of people wanting to play alts, which in my opinion can only be done by making the low-level runes easier to get. And so that's part of it, is that they did a bunch of things to the game. They changed a bunch of stuff that nobody asked for. They stated what their purpose was, which was to get people to play alts. But I don't think that's going to be the result. And if it is the result, it'll be like it'll be a dead cat bounce. You ever hear of a dead cat bounce? The cat jumps, it smacks the concrete, it bounces, but it's a dead cat bounce, so it's not going to get up and jump again. You know, it bounced the one time because that's what things do. And so you might have a dead cat bounce from this XP buff where like March 5th, on March 5th, a lot of people are going to go back. They're going to quickly level up. They're going to hit 40, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, this is why I quit. I didn't have anything to do. I didn't have a raiding guild. There's no solo-friendly content. I'm not a PvPer. People might come back. They're going to get to 40, and they're going to have the same feelings that stopped them from playing in the first place. So it didn't fix anything. So you'll see a dead cat bounce. And that's it, though. But Alex, the cornerstone ones are hard to get. The cornerstone, the most important ones, the ones you fundamentally have to create your class fantasy that you want to play are hard to get. And some of the bad bullshit ones are easy, yeah. Some of the bad bullshit ones are easy to get. You know, the ones that you might not use long term. But the ones where you want to actually make your class be what it can be, those are really long. They're not hard. None of it's hard. It's a classic WoW. It's not hard. We're not talking about difficulty. We're talking about wasting my fucking time. We're talking about the idea of spending 30 hours on every alt to get the abilities that I want, to feel like my spellbook is complete. That's what we're talking about. It's not hard. It's just boring and stupid. Like, there's a difference. They didn't make it hard. They made it boring, tedious, and time-consuming, which is a bigger offense than making shit hard. If it was just that it was really hard and skill-based, and like you either had to find it yourself in the world or puzzle something out, or maybe it was a boss encounter that had mechanics that you had to learn the mechanics, if they made it hard, that would be different. It's not hard. It's boring, it's tedious, it takes time, it's not fun, it's not interesting. That's the problem with runes. No one's excited to pull up Wowhead to get a fucking rune, whether it takes you 10 minutes or it takes you 3 hours. There is no excitement in it. That's the problem with runes. Not that they're hard, not that some of them are hard to get and some of them are easy to get. Difficulty has nothing to do with it. Nothing in the game is difficult. And yes, and then there's the ones that require you to have other people. And the ones that require you to have other people, it's not always about being able to defeat an enemy. Sometimes you're required to have other people to click on a fucking thing for you. Sometimes you're required to have other people so they can slash kneel at you or slash pray at you. And that's it. And there comes a point when, sometimes unless you have a guild, it's hard to find those people in the world to click the thing for you. It's hard to find people who are willing to come throw some fire spells at the icicle guy with you. It's hard to find people who are willing to come pray at you or kneel on you. Like, it just becomes difficult to find people who give a shit, who are going to stop and come help you. So sometimes you spend 20 minutes, and the gameplay that you spend for those 20 minutes is you standing and spamming general chat. Can a priest or paladin please come to the Yeti cave? Can a priest or paladin please come to the Yeti cave? I need a priest or paladin at the Yeti cave to click a portal because my dumbass can't click the portal by myself. That's not fun. It's not exciting. It's not interesting. It's boring, tedious gameplay that slows you down and artificially wastes your time. And that's the problem with runes, is that while they're not being fun, they are artificially wasting your time. I should be patient with boring, lame gameplay? Why? It's a video game. It should be fun. An entire cornerstone of the game should not be that I should simply be patient with how fucking long it takes. Like, that's not fun gameplay. I'm not doing a Zen exercise. If I'm playing a video game, if I want to work on my patience, I will dig a hole and I will fill it the fuck back up. If I want to work on my patience, I will meditate. If I want to play a video game, I just want it to be fun. I want it to be relatively engaging. I want it to feel slightly rewarding when I accomplish things. I don't want to feel like the developers are purposely wasting my time and or holding me back from enjoying my time. That's not what I'm in for. If I want to exercise patience, I'll go in my backyard, I'll dig a hole, I'll fill it up, and then I'll do it again. If I want to have fun, I'll play a fucking video game. Does that make sense? I think the least they could do, let's say they don't shorten any of the quest chains to get the runes. Let's say that they never put any of the runes on the trainer the way I want them to. I feel like the least they could do at this point, especially when people are leveling up so quickly, remove the requirements on the ones that require other people to help you. Because, like, for the most part, other people are not going to want to help you unless you have a guild. Also, the longer the season goes on, the less people are going to be around at low levels who are going to want to stop and help you. Eventually, and we've had the experience already, where we've had to spend 15, 20 minutes waiting for a paladin to come, where we've had to beg somebody in the open world as a priest to come pray at us, and then it takes them 10 or 15 minutes to get to you. At least, if you're going to let people level up 100% faster, it's going to feel so much worse when you hit those moments when you're completely dependent on a stranger to stop everything they're doing to come help a person they don't know and don't care about to get one of their abilities. They could at least go back and make those runes soloable. Get rid of the priest requirement to have a stranger pray at you or kneel at you. That shit is weird and cringe anyway. Please just get rid of it. The things where, a portal comes and somebody else has to click it. Let me click it myself. I'm more than capable of clicking. They could at least do that. If they want people to level up twice as fast, then they can get rid of some of those requirements that require you to wait around for another player to come by and help you. Melting people out of frost. Let me do that with my one fire ability. Don't require me to drag 2 other people with fire spells into my group to do it, because eventually those people are not going to be around. Does it promote social interaction? You are confusing the word promote with enforces. Do you want to know what promotes social interaction? 5-man dungeons, open world elite quest, rare spawn elites. Those promote social interaction because they offer you an optional activity that has a reward that you could do if you want to group up with other players. Locking your class abilities behind relying on other people is not promoting group play. It's fucking enforcing it. And that's not okay. It's an MMO, and if you knew anything, you would know that a lot of people play this on their own. We're what you call solo players. In my mind, doing a 5-man pug is solo content. I can group up with 5 random people, and I can optionally play, and I love 5-mans. I love 5-mans, I don't mind pugging raids, and I consider myself a solo player. But when it comes to leveling my character up and learning my abilities, I want to do that on my own, because I enjoy the game on my own, like a lot of people do. I would say probably 60 or 70% of people who play the game consider themselves casual or consider themselves solo players in the sense that most of their journey is on their own. And when they do group up, it's to do things like 5-mans, it's to do things like raids, it's to do things like battlegrounds. Yeah, you're confusing optional content with mandatory content, and I think I've explained it pretty clearly. It's great to have things in an MMO that promote group content, that compel people to want to group up. It's not okay to lock your entire class behind the absolute need to level up, especially in an environment when there might not be people around. That's the biggest problem, is that there might simply not be people around to help you with those things in the first place. Which, when the content is optional, isn't a big deal. But when the content is getting your cornerstone abilities, then it becomes a big deal when you simply can't find those people, even if you're inclined to look. And at no point did I say the season was horrible, so please don't fucking put words into my mouth. Don't even insinuate that I feel a certain way that I haven't said. Thank you. I would appreciate that very much. When someone's espousing their opinions about something and those opinions don't align with yours, that doesn't mean that they think something is horrible either. It just means that their opinion is different and they're talking about things that they don't particularly enjoy. Keep your words and all other things that belong to you out of my mouth, please. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I'm chill. I'm chill enough, man. I'm as chill as I need to be since it's my channel. My channel, my stream. If you don't like it, there's lots of places to go. Some of those places, people are more chill. A lot of those places, people are less chill. I would say about 80% of the time, like, things are really chill. Unfortunately, I'm a human being, and like, as a human being, there are things that I care about. As a human being, there are strong opinions that I have about things, and I as a human being who has a stream, like, unfortunately, for better or worse, I like to talk about those things. I like to talk about them how I want. I like to talk about them using the language that I want to use. Which, you know, some people might find offensive. That's fine. That's, you know. But yeah, sometimes it's chill. But also, like, when I feel strongly about a thing that I think is wrong, I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to use the energy level that I want to. And basically, like, for me, the worst thing you could ever do is to tell me to chill. Like, that's, like, probably the dumbest thing you could do. It's definitely not going to be conductive to any kind of conversation after that point. Because it's easy. Like, if I'm not chill enough for you, then you're in the wrong stream. So you don't have to tell me to chill. You can just go away, and then that would solve the problem. Also, when's the last time you told someone to chill and they were like, "Oh yeah, okay, I will chill, you're right." When's the last time that happened to you? Probably never. This seems questionable. This seems really sus. Let's go over the hill here and we'll leash these guys. Who do we got? Oh, we're good. That was a fun one. Lael, good afternoon, man. Welcome to the stream. Just a fair warning. I've been complaining about a lot of things today. There was a big SOD update, and I've been complaining about it. Some people have said that I am not chill today, and I don't completely disagree. But I am about as chill as I'm gonna get for the time being. What do I still need? I still need one seer. One more seer and we can get out of here. Did he delete his comment? No, I banned his dumbass from the channel. And then it deletes all... For some reason, like when you ban someone, it goes back and it removes all of their other comments. Which wasn't necessary, but that's how YouTube works. No, I just banned him. Yeah. It's like, there are things that I will put up with, but when someone is being ignorant and offensive and stupid... When you hit a trifecta of things that annoy me, that's when I will ban you. But you have to hit a trifecta. So you can just be ignorant, you can just be stupid, or you can just be offensive. But if you manage to encapsulate all of those things in a short period of time, then I have to ban you. Because yeah, that's the trifecta of annoying stuff, and I'm not here to be annoyed by people's ignorance, or their offensiveness, or their stupidity. It's basically like if you make my blood pressure rise, basically. It's like that's the easier way to look at it. If reading the things that you keep saying to me makes my blood pressure rise, then I have to ban you. It's a health choice at that point. If I've been reasonable enough and I've like gone back and forth with you, but you continue to make my blood pressure rise, then you're gone. Which I feel like is pretty charitable. Lael, that's rough, man. I'm assuming the garb of the person showing up would somehow equate to the thing that they are being served papers for. So like if you're being served papers because like you owe some huge hospital bills and you never paid them, then the person that shows up will probably be wearing like semi-professional attire. If you're being served papers for some kind of like heinous thing you did, then maybe the person shows up wearing SWAT gear. I don't know. He could have just been the dude that was in the neighborhood that day, you know? It could be that. It could be like either the person matches the crime or just like whoever happens to be around that day. Could be random. I was served papers one time, and it was by a woman in a sports coat, like just a suit jacket, and that was very unassuming. And that was the last time that I ever let anybody hand me anything. I don't let people hand me things anymore. Asmodin, I basically feel the same way. Yeah, that is basically what it boils down to. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when it comes to, and this has always been a pet peeve of mine. When it comes to what I want to talk about and how I want to talk about it, that's always going to be my choice, and I'm never going to like change that or tailor that because of somebody else's opinion. It's like you're telling a person who is clearly upset about a thing that they're not being chill. Like you're listening to a person who is clearly who clearly has strong feelings about a topic, and then to be like, you need to chill. Like, I need to chill. I have fucking strong feelings about this topic. The whole point of this discussion is that I am not chill about this topic. That's the whole point.
What's on your mind?
No, not really. Just the same kind of like stupid ignorance. They didn't believe what I believed And they felt like it must have been their job to like make me feel the way they feel. And when they couldn't do that, then I was the one who was just not being, I needed to chill. because I wouldn't relent my opinions to some random person on the internet. Because I wouldn't relent my opinions, I needed to chill. Can't win argument? Tell person they need to chill. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, you know, we went back and forth for a while. When he realized that I was going to refute whatever he said, because I didn't feel the same way, I was going to refute it. And then he realized that I had the words to refute it. Then it was just that I needed to chill. It's like that's the recourse of someone who feels like they need to win an argument that's not really an argument, and that also they aren't going to win anyway. Like, firstly, there's no argument. You feel how you feel. I'm telling you how you're wrong compared to how I feel. There's not an argument. You're not going to win. I'm not going to win. It's fine. Like, at some point, you just have to accept that. Maybe you said, nah, the problem is like full-grown adults are like this. That's the problem, is it's not like it's a kid. It's like full-grown adults are this way. Like, they're willing to go back and forth with you for a minute until they realize that they're not going to change your mind, and until they realize you're able to competently articulate your reasons for how you feel. Once you're able to have reasons for your opinion, and you can actually articulate them to refute someone, that's when people will they'll resort to like tactics designed to distract from the discussion. Like telling someone to chill. Like, see how we're no longer having the discussion, now you've taken it somewhere else because you realize that, you know, you're not going to get what you want out of the interaction. Okay, let's have a look here. We have nothing else that we're going to pick up here right now. Mountaineer Rockgar, I'm not sure where he's at. Iron Band's Excavation. I should probably take that one. There we go.
You? Keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah, it's not easy. The reason I'm used to it because I taught corporate classes for a long time. So I'm used to standing in front of people and having people have an opinion on something. Why is this way? Why do I have to do it like this? And then I would have to explain to them why they had to do it that way. I would have to talk about why it was that way. And so I'm used to it. But it's like differently from being in a classroom. When someone pushes my buttons too much here, I can just get rid of them. So that's a big bonus. You guys are guests in my sandbox. Yes. Or sometimes you're like unwitting guest, like in front of my podium, from which I will hand down my decrees on how I feel about things. Like, yeah, sometimes that happens. But you're not held captive. You're allowed to leave at any time. You could even be like, man, this rant, I'm sick of this rant. You could leave and you can come back later. Like, there's lots of options. But like, so far, as long as I've been streaming, like, nobody has, like, if I form an opinion, like, and it's how I feel, like, no one has changed how I feel about a thing. Because if I have an opinion and I have a feeling, I've already thought it through. Like, I didn't just come to the thought and the feeling suddenly. Like, if I have an opinion, I've already thought it through. I've discussed it with myself. Like, I've gone back and forth in my head about it. And so I already know, like, very firmly where I stand on an issue when I start talking about it. And sometimes people feel like they feel the need to, like, change my mind. Or to prove me wrong, when it's not really, like, a right or wrong thing. I'm just observing the realities that I'm experiencing, and I'm talking about how I feel about them. Like, and how I see them. Like, that's not always a right or wrong thing. And it's, like, my mind is not going to be changed. Because I've already thought it through. Which maybe not everybody does. Maybe people are used to jumping to opinions and, like, discussing things that they haven't thought through. And so maybe people are used to having their minds changed. But yeah, typically if I rant about it, it's already been an internal monologue for a little while.
What's on your mind? Be good.
Robert, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. That's very generous of you. I appreciate it. What did they change about SOD? Like, in the long and short of it is, they made a blue post yesterday, and the blue post started off by saying, we really want people to level up alts in SOD. And to facilitate people leveling up more alts in SOD, they are giving 100% XP buff. Starting on March 5th, from level 1 to 39, you will have 100% XP buff. My, like, take on this, and the reason why, like, I'm annoyed with it, is because in my opinion, the reason people are not leveling a lot of alts is not because it takes too long to level up. In all the time we played SOD, I never had one person tell me that it felt like it took too long to hit 40. I never felt that way myself. I never had anybody in the guild or anybody in the community say, oh yeah, you know what sucks about the season? I just wish I could level up even faster. But no one ever said that. And in my opinion, people's reluctance to level alts in SOD is because they feel daunted having to go after 18 runes on another character because of the tediousness with which runes are acquired and how they aren't really fun gameplay. So my stance is that, you know, they introduced these changes, but it didn't actually solve the issue. It didn't do anything to make people want to level an alt, in my opinion. Now, it might get some people to come back and level up, but they're going to hit that same point again. They're going to level up a character, they're going to get the cap, and they're going to go, well, damn. And now I either do this again and I go after runes on another character, or I stop playing for a while. Like, they're going to get back to the same point.
What can I do for
if
you?
they've already stopped playing once, they're just going to keep having those same feelings.
Have a good one. How are you? See you around.
And, like, more importantly, like, it doesn't help me at all. Because I was fine with the time to level up. What I hate is I hate going around and getting all the runes.
What's on your mind?
And that's the long and short of it. They made a bunch of changes. You know, they also increased the amount of gold that we're getting, so like you'll get more gold. It's like to compensate leveling faster, you're gonna get more gold while leveling up. Your mount cost is gonna be cut. I don't know if they said it in half. I don't know if they gave a specific number, but your level 40 mount is gonna now be much cheaper. And yeah, it's not great. Like, nothing about the update really made me feel great. It just kind of made me feel bad. Because, like, A, I still don't want to really level an alt. B, a lot of people now are going to feel like their time that they've spent has been invalidated. There's so many quality of life issues that they need to address in the season that they still haven't addressed. You know, from, like, rune acquisition is a big thing, you know? But there are so many little things that could make SOD better. Having the Burning Crusade style looking for group could make SOD a lot better. Like being able to open up an in-game tool and list yourself as interested for activities, like raids and 5-mens, that could be amazing for the season. turning on summoning stones would be an easy fix, like big quality of life, helping people get around the world a lot faster to group up. Like, what I see is like, I see developers who are not seeing the actual problems, and so obviously that kind of makes me irate. Yeah, for the season, I would prefer they have the full automated looking for group tool for a season. I would be willing to accept the Burning Crusade style of like a bulletin board. You know, I would rather just I queue up and you put me in the dungeon. Like, it's a season of WoW. I want to do the content, and I want to be able to do the content. It's about the content. It's not about traveling around the world for me. You know, that's what hardcore is for. That's what classic era is for. In a season should be about the content, and the content is the dungeons, the raids, the PvP, building your class the way you want to build your class. All of those things are like the actual content of the season that are supposed to make it interesting. Many of us have traveled the world, you know, back and forth many, many times. So like, that's not necessarily all that we're looking for. But we'll see. Apparently, you know, that they said that they're still listening to the community. They still want more feedback and all that stuff. So maybe we'll see more of those things change over time. Maybe we will see summon stones get turned on. Maybe we will see some kind of bulletin board looking for group system put into the game. Who knows? But for right now, there's just all these things that like could make the season better, that could make people want to level alts that they seem to have overlooked, or have proven unwilling to really look at or dig into. It's a SOD beta. Yeah. Like, yeah, SOD will be in a finished state, you know, once we can level to 60. And that's basically what it boils down to. Like, by level 60 opening up, you'll have all the experience bonuses you're going to have. You'll know how much the mount is going to cost for the rest of the season. But meanwhile, like, we're subject to all these sudden it's a big change too. Like, you have to think, like, 100 from not having an XP buff from 25 to 40 to having 100% XP buff. That's a huge change to make in the middle of the level band. That's kind of the scary part, is like, we kind of got used to like things changing with the level band opening up. You know, like when Phase 2 opened up, they made changes to the waylaid supplies. Obviously, they put the XP buff in from 1 to 25. They added the sleeping bag and the rested XP cookies. So like we were kind of starting to get used to the idea that like upon opening each level band, they would change a couple things. You know, they made it so you can carry more waylaid supplies, but so you couldn't turn them in empty. But now we have to be worried that like while we're in the middle of a band, huge things are going to change. And that's a little bit daunting. To think that even while I'm in my current level band, like, I could be hit with 100% XP buff all of a sudden. And then the idea that I think it has the opposite effect. I think for some people, like, making that kind of big change, like, drives them away from the game. Part of that is that they feel like it invalidates their prior efforts. How long between when the phase opened up and March 5th? I'm not sure. So the new XP buff is going in on March 5th. When did Phase 2 open up? I don't remember what the date was. February 8th? It might have been the start of this month. So it might have been less than 1 month that the phase has been open, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not the best with like keeping track of days and dates and stuff. It hasn't been super long. You know, it's maybe been 4 weeks. Yeah, roughly a month, yeah. That's not very long. And so, and we can expect the level band to be open for at least another month or two. I would suspect that we would be in the level 40 band probably until like the beginning of April. I would think maybe like April 1st. Sometime right around the beginning of April, we would move into the level 50 band.
You need something? Safe travels. Have a good one.
They changed the price of mount training, but like the reason why they changed mount training and the reason why they are giving you more gold is because of the XP buff. You know, if you're leveling up
What can I do for you?
100% faster, you're probably not fighting as much.
Off with you.
You're probably not having to do as much content in
Watch your
general, and then you have less money. So like the mount thing makes sense to me. Like in light of doing 100% XP buff, cheapening the mount and giving people more gold, that makes sense at that point. Like I don't have a problem with those things. What I have a problem with is that they said they want to make changes to get people to play alts, and all the changes they made, they don't make me want to play an alt. That's my problem. Is like they didn't fix it for me, and I think that there are a lot of people out there they didn't fix it for. And they could have fixed it. They could have said we're given 100% XP buff. Your rune abilities from 1 to 25 will be available on your class trainer. And I would have been like, hallelujah. 1 to 25 runes on my class trainer? Let's go. Let's level every fucking class. Like, I'd love to have a whole roster in SOD, because I really wanted to see all the class changes. I wanted to see, like, what is a rogue tank like? What is a warlock tank like? What is a mage healer like? What is a melee hunter like? I want to see all those things. I don't want to spend scores and scores of hours hunting down my abilities. Especially when I just feel like eventually they will have to change how they're acquired. And I would always be fine with the current runes for the phase we are in. I'm fine if those are a pain in the ass to get. I'm fine if we have to run around for 3 hours to get like the most current runes that exist. But I feel like it's common sense that when you offer 100% experience buff and you want people to level alts, you probably want to make those abilities easier to get at lower levels. That's going to compel people to try new classes. Because they're going to know that, damn, that warlock, man, that tanking warlock, that looks really cool. I'm going to level a warlock, and look, at level 16, I can train my demon form. Now I can go tank dead mines. Now I can go tank SFK. I can start playing the class that I want to play earlier in the game. Without relying on a guild or somebody to carry me through the running around necessary to get the item, like the way it is now. It makes too much sense. Blizzard would never. That's what it feels like. Yeah, that's been my problem with it. Is that it feels like they're overlooking it, and it feels like they're overlooking it on purpose, because like runes are like their baby. Like rune acquisition, that is the discovery. How you find runes is the discovery part of the season of discovery. Like, and I'm sure like in their minds, if they are forced to make those runes easier to get, that is somehow undermining the development that they put in to make those runes hard to get. And so I'm sure that's the last thing they want to address. I'm sure the last thing the developers want to address is how much of a boring, tedious pain in the ass some of the runes are. How they're not fun. How they're not engaging. I'm sure they don't want to talk about that stuff, because it's kind of the cornerstone of their season. But at some point, you have to address things that are actual issues. You can't address a bunch of other stuff that nobody complained about and then not address like kind of a pain point for lower level characters. I mean, you can do that. They did that, but it just seems like a stupid thing to do. That's it. Yeah, we've been ranting about this for 2 hours. I'm sure. Oh my dear God. I don't know what happened just now. I think I have there's like a fucking ghost or like an angry spirit now in my office. I have a second desk over to my right, And all of a sudden, like, I have speakers on that desk, and one of the speakers just kind of like flung itself off the desk and is now dangling from the desk. Like, something really strange and catastrophic happened. Like, right behind the Alliance banner, there is another desk. And something really weird happened over there. You guys watch my background, okay? I don't want anything to creep up on me. I might have to, once I turn this timed quest in, I might have to investigate what's going on in the rest of my office. It's the spirit of the dude I banned. My rage is manifesting. Oh man. I don't think I feel rage. I don't know. I've seen people enraged. This is not quite rage. But yeah, maybe something's going on. I don't know how that speaker got all the way off the desk. Nothing fell from above. Oh man. There's probably like a wild animal in here. I'm gonna have to investigate it. Cause like some serious shit fell. You guys probably heard it. And there really shouldn't be anything over there that can move. Nothing over there has been touched. So weird. You guys just watch behind me, okay? Do I have frequent occurrences like that? No, never. No, never, and I don't actually believe in paranormal things. Well, that's not true. Well, it is true. Yeah, I don't have any belief for stuff. I don't see, yeah, a blood moon. I don't have any real belief in stuff, and so because I don't have real belief in stuff, like, stuff doesn't happen to me like that. And the thing is, like, I have so little belief that, like, if something were to happen to me, my brain would just come up with, like, a reason for it, you know what I mean? The human brain is like really good at taking a strange event and instantly rationalizing it, even if upon closer inspection the rationalization doesn't make sense. Like, your human brain wants to keep you sane and wants to make you feel safe, even if insanity is happening and even if you're not safe. Your brain will like quickly just make up a story to make you feel okay with whatever happened, even if what happened was effed up or unexplainable. And so my brain's really good at that. So even if some weird shit happened to me, like, I would just write it off. I would write it off and I would never worry about it again. What class are we playing? Right now we're playing a Pally. Okay, I'm gonna get up here and just kind of like investigate what happened. I'll be right back. Yeah, like, nothing happened, but, like, the little standing speaker, I have, like, just a little, like, two speakers. The speaker that was on the desk just, like, moved off the desk and fell and was hanging by its cord. But nothing hit it, nothing else was disturbed, there was no way that, like, anything bumped into it. There's no windows open down here, so it wasn't, like, a stiff breeze. And I just don't see how that could have happened. The speaker's been in that same spot on the desk for months and months and months. It's been about 3 months since anybody has used the desk to do anything at. So I don't really know. Like my brain right now is coming up with no justification, and yet my brain is still writing it off. In 3 hours, I will never think about this again. Because yeah, like all evidence points to the fact that like what just happened should not have been able to happen. But, you know, my brain is telling me that, you know, there's just a reason for it, and I'm just too stupid to know what it is. And I'll just have to live with that. We'll see if it happens again. Guys, you know I have to do this. Boop! Today's a fun day. It seems like we always have a fun day whenever I rant heavily about something. I wonder if my ranting just brings like random assholes out of the woodwork. That's often what it seems like. Now another ghost is coming. Right. Amy, you heard the noise upstairs. Yeah, I can't explain what it was. One of the speakers at that desk flew off the desk. I can't explain what it was. I didn't feel anything. There's no like ominous tones playing in the background. There's no heaviness in the air. Everything feels fine. Like, I feel fine. I can't explain it. Guys, once again, I did this last time. I did not grab the next part of In Defense of the King's Lands. This is the second time that I have effed this up in recent memory. So we could have paired up a couple of different quests here, but now we're not going to be doing that. Do I have pets? Yes, upstairs there are animals. There are 2 dogs. One is medium-sized, one is small, but they're not down in the basement. Like, I'm in the basement. They're not down here. The door is shut. There's no wind, there's no airflow. The heat isn't even running right now, so there's like 0 airflow. And the speaker would have had to move about 4 or 5 inches to the left. Like, the speaker had to move a significant amount of distance in order for this to happen. Like, it wasn't like the speaker was on the edge of the desk precariously placed. Like, I'm not that irresponsible with my technology. The speaker had to slide about 4 or 5 inches to fall off the desk in the direction that it did. The speaker's a transformer. That could be the case. Yeah, robots in disguise. An earthquake? I didn't feel it. No, I didn't feel anything. And I'm underground, so like if there was an earthquake, I should have been able to feel it. Like, at least in my feet. My feet are touching the ground. The name of the add-on for the item tooltips? Yeah. I can pop that up. Let's see. It's one long word. Item tooltip profession icons. You have to type it exactly like this in CurseForge, and it has to be all one word, otherwise you will never find it. Dustin, have a good rest of your day, man. I appreciate you hanging out. I should probably take a minute here to re-up our elixirs, to eat some buff food, to get the sharpening stones going again. That would be a good idea, especially we're fighting some stuff that's not gray. So we might want to optimize just a little bit. I'm also out of inventory space. I could have swore that I've been talking to vendors and clicking on vendors, but, you know, I've also been ranting quite heavily. And it's possible that, like, ranting heavily cuts into my processing power, and that I play the game even less optimally than I would normally play the game, which is saying a lot. Because, like, already it would be pretty not optimal. But apparently it's gotten worse today. The copper modulator I don't need, I'll drop that. The rough stones are not going to sell for a lot, I'll drop that stack, and now we have at least a little bit of inventory space. Do I buy potions or do I have an alchemist character? I have alchemist friends. Yeah, it's even better than having an alchemist character to have an alchemist friend. Blood Moon, have a good rest of your day. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you next time. What is my highest level in hardcore? In official hardcore, my hunter is level 42. Back on Bloodsail Buccaneers, we got a paladin to 48. And he didn't die, I just had to retire him. What I learned on the paladin on Bloodsail Buccaneers is that doing solo self-found on a class that requires a good weapon to deal damage is a bad idea. So yeah, I got him to 48, and then we could barely even kill a green enemy. Our weapon was so bad. We could barely kill a green enemy without having to like eat and drink and heal up between every fight, so I retired him. But 42 in official. And that character is still alive. I've been kind of afraid to get on the hunter because, well, now I'm feeling better. We've been back in hardcore for what, 3 days? I didn't want to jump back on the hunter right away because I kind of worried about getting her killed. And now I've been really enjoying the paladin though, because I always get pulled back to the paladin, but eventually we'll probably play some of the hunter as well. This character's leveling arc though is better than the hunter's because on this character we did stuff in Teldrassil. Like really early on we went to Teldrassil and we did a bunch of questing there. We did questing in Darkshore, and so like this character is further ahead of the leveling curve. And the hunter was really, like, the hunter was a little bit behind the leveling curve. Which at level 42 was making it kind of challenging to find, like, decent quests to do that weren't too dangerous. I think I have that hunter parked in Dustwallow Marsh. And, like, classic era Dustwallow Marsh, there's just not a ton of stuff to do. Roger, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that Bloodsail Buccaneers pally, he needed to find like an epic weapon. If only we had gotten some like amazing blue drop. That could have saved him. And then, of course, shortly Blizzard announced official hardcore, and then when they announced official hardcore, they kind of killed the communities on Bloodsail Buccaneers and Hydraxian Waterlords. And I had grown like really fond of that server. I feel like we've done a lot of stuff in official hardcore. It's been a good time, but in my mind, like the best like hardcore days we had so far, we're back on Bloodsail Buccaneers. Like, that was probably the best times that we had. That was like the peak of people trying it out, the peak of people playing. There were no layers. There were no layers. And so when you went again, when you died and had to re-roll, the starting zones always looked like an opening night of the game. Because they were always so busy. And that was like a really special feeling. That we didn't get to have in official hardcore because official hardcore had a bunch of layers right away. They spread players out, and it never felt the same once we weren't on Bloodsail Buccaneers anymore. Bruno, good afternoon, man. I should try self-found mode when it launches. I probably will. I don't know if I'll stream it or if I will do a recorded series on it. I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle it. I think I will play it. I think I'm also gonna do solo self-found. I know that solo is not a part of the actual like checkbox that they're adding, and solo is not really a part of it. But if I do a self-found run, if I'm already doing self-found, I'm just gonna do solo self-found and just kind of go like all the way with it. But I haven't decided if I want to stream it or if I want to do like a cozy recorded series for it. And then keep streaming our mainline hardcore characters. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like I have like 1 day to decide. Shit, is today Wednesday? Today is Wednesday. I have 0 days left to decide what I'm gonna do with self-found. But I think I'll at least start it as a recorded series and just like see where we go. I know there are people that like the hardcore playthroughs, but they don't really like the streams, because as someone told me earlier, like I'm not always chill in the streams. So I know those people are out there, and that they probably want some hardcore action, but they don't care for the streams. So like having a recorded series going of hardcore would be good for them, and it'd probably be good for me too. Cause I want to keep playing this Pally. And so like I think I might keep playing the Pally on the streams, and then I'll do recorded stuff for the solo self-found. Yeah, in self-found you can't even trade with your alts. Yeah, there's no meta progression. It is very much like, you know, the Blood Cell Buccaneers, Hydraxian Waterlord style of hardcore. And I think I might do a Shaman. I thought about Priest at first, but like I might do a Shaman. The Shaman was the very first class that I tried hardcore on, back when I started playing it on Blood Cell Buccaneers. And our Shaman got to level 19, and they died in Stone Talon Mountains to a Deforester. And that's when I learned that fireballs were the bane of existence for hardcore characters. So maybe I'll jump on a Shaman. That could be cool. How am I gonna clear this? If I do a Shaman, it's probably gonna have to focus on being elemental. Because for solo self-found, we don't want to be too reliant on a weapon. Like a weapon has to be like just like a nice to have. And we have to rely mainly on our spell ranks for increased damage. Okay, we managed to body pull just this guy. I will take it. The sad part is if I had remembered to pick up the quest, we'd be getting kill credit for the Bone Snappers and the Shamans. But, you know, I was ranting at the time. I did not pick up the quest. And now here we are. Fighting tons of Shaman and tons of Bone Snappers that we're not going to get credit for. It's kind of sad. Oh man, we got the Shaman too. Is he gonna heal? I feel like there's a chance that maybe he heals. He's healing. That's not gonna be good for us. We got potions. We've got heals of our own. I'd like to kill the Shaman before we heal. Let's pop a potion. If he heals again, we can hit him with a stun. Okay, he's not healing. That didn't kill him. We are getting hit in the back here. Which is not great. I do need to pop a heal now, though, before anything else happens. Let's make it 2 heals to be sure. Yeah, I should have picked up the quest. Yeah, absolutely. Because now I'm gonna go after these guys in the cave, and like in the cave there's less of them. In the cave we have to wait for respawns. In the cave we are in a cave. So yeah, I should have went back and just grabbed the quest. It's now I'm like basically done getting these items. So oh man. We got lots of traveling to do anyway. Let's just go get the quest. I feel like that's fine. We still have to run all the way back here. We're gonna have to run down here regardless. We have stuff to turn in back in town. We've got a quest up here to the north, so we still got a lot to do. You're right. I might as well go back and just grab this quest. There's so many shaman and so many bone snappers up here that trying to do it in the back of the cave doesn't make any sense. There's so few like spawn points in the cave, and the cave is a cave, so it's more dangerous. So yeah, we'll just go get it. That's fine. Man, I'm out of coffee. I have like very little coffee. I should have refilled my coffee at some point. There has not been a convenient flight point for me to refill my coffee. Also, at some point, we're gonna have to train. We have level 18 to train. Yeah, having another rank of Seal of Righteousness would be really good. Retribution Aura, I don't know if I would use it, but it'd be nice to have. At level 20, we get Devotion Aura 3. Yeah, we'll have to go back and train soonish. Yeah, I might get some eventually. Realistically, for the longer I go without coffee, the healthier I'll probably be. Like, if I can put off refilling my coffee for like an hour, that would probably be better for my overall, like, physical well-being.
Safe travels.
I try to tell myself that.
Keep your feet on the ground.
I try to keep telling myself that until I believe it. Yeah, let's just run down there and we'll get the quest. You know what I could do? I could have vendored when we were in town. Vendoring would have been good. Let's see if we can come across the traveling vendor. We should see him at some point. And yeah, I've just been really bad today about remembering to sell. We have a bunch of ore. We have a bunch of linen. My bags are becoming a little bit outrageous. Am I more excited for Cata Classic or for leveling to 60 in Sod? At this point, only because of how my experience, like my own personal experience, has kind of like left a sour taste in my mouth for Sod. And so that's a tough one to answer. Like, yeah, right now I'd say that I'm looking forward to Cataclysm. I guess like part of that is looking for like a tried and true, already tested, already betaed, already fixed version of the game to play. I guess like that's what I think about, is at least with Cata, like while they might make some small changes here and there, they might add stuff like how in Wrath they added the Titan rune dungeons, at least the game has already been tested, at least the game is already a complete game. The itemization already makes sense for the classes, the raids are already there. Like, yeah, so like, part of me thinks that like, I am looking forward to Kata. Did I just not come across this vendor at all? Did I just run right past him and not notice? I always pass this guy, and now today he's nowhere to be found when I need him the most. I need him now, and he's not here. It's very sad.
Well met.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Kata. I am. Probably, like, I guess, like, the thing is, like, I'll have to, with Sod, I have to wait and see. With Sod, it could be fun, it could be garbage. Like, I have to wait and see. But with Cataclysm, I know that I'm gonna have a fun time. So yeah, I'm kind of ready. Kind of ready for Kata to come out. Like, I'm ready to have another version of the game to play. Like, Wrath has been, like, pretty dead. Like, every once in a while, I kind of get the urge to play Wrath, but then I just realize, like, so few people are playing it or even interested in it, that it just doesn't seem like it's worthwhile right now. And, you know, I'm probably going to just take a Paladin into Kata, like, on the Horde side. If I want to see Horde content, I have my Paladin. And for Alliance stuff, I'm going to do a Worgen Hunter. So I'm kind of just waiting. I can't even really, like, level up a character right now for the Alliance side to prepare for Kata, because I would really like to play a Worgen Hunter. So I'm waiting for the pre-patch. And then if I do anything on the Horde side, it'll be with my Blood Elf Pally. I probably passed that vendor again. We'll just sell back in town. And maybe I can probably make some copper bars to clean up a little bit more inventory space. We'll make the bandages we can make. I might just mail these to my bank alt, actually. Because I don't think... well, we could still get skill ups. It's not gray yet. So technically we could still get skill ups. And if I let this run, I might be able to sneak upstairs and refill my coffee. So this could be serving two purposes here. Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. See, in Cataclysm, my guild was taking a break, so I missed the raids before Firelands. In Firelands, me and my friend had formed our own guild, like, with none of the people that we knew from our main guild, and we raided Firelands. But Firelands was like the only raid that I remember from Kata. So all that stuff, unlike Wrath, like Wrath, I raided all that stuff when Wrath was out so many times, over and over and over again. So like, I never felt super compelled to do a lot of raiding in Wrath because I'd already done it. In Cataclysm, that's not true. In Cataclysm, the only raid that I did even like a little bit was Firelands. And that was pretty much it. And then, like, I'm hoping that they do something similar to what they did for 5-man progression in Wrath. I'm hoping that we get Heroics, that we get Heroic Plus, Heroic Plus Plus, Heroic Plus Plus Plus. I feel like those were really good additions to the endgame for people who they wanted to get gear, but maybe they didn't want to raid. Maybe they weren't in a raiding guild. Maybe they weren't comfortable pugging the raids. I feel like having that, like, 5-man progression is essential for solo players. And yes, I consider 5-mans in the looking for dungeon tool, I consider that solo player content. And so for me, like, having that is essential. So I'm hoping they do the same thing, or something really similar to it. Because even if you do plan to raid, it's a really nice way to get pre-raid gear. You feel like you have the power to set out, farm up badges, and really go after some good gear to get you into the raids. Alright, that is... well, let's sell these. I don't need this. I'm not a tailor. I can sell that. The cooking ones I can't learn yet. Anything else? The mild spices I can't sell. Alright. Let's go do the smelting first. And then I'll do the first aid. Yeah, if they don't put them in, it would be silly. Right. Did they confirm it? Oh, John, they might have. Yeah. Besides the BlizzCon announcement, which I only watched once, like, I haven't looked at any Caddis stuff. They probably did already confirm it, yeah. And, like, yeah, like there would be no reason for them not to do it. So it's just a big win for players. And so, yeah, Caddis should be a really fun time. I am very much looking forward to it. The pre-patch can't come soon enough. Like, I don't know when they're kind of scheduling it. I think it was, like, mid-spring for the pre-patch. So maybe sometime by, like, May. I'm hoping by May we have the pre-patch.
See you soon.
But who knows? Who knows? We could look at the roadmap. The roadmap would tell us. Let's have a look. So yeah, the Cataclysm Classic pre-patch event. It on the roadmap, it's like middle to end of spring, actually. So yeah, I think like summer starts June 20th. So we could get the pre-patch like as late as June 1st, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm kind of worried now that maybe we don't see the pre-patch until the first week of June or so. It could be a little ways off. Before we see Cata pre-patch, we're gonna see the level 50 band's gonna open up for SOD, so they're not gonna want to have those two things too close together. They don't want to compete with themselves that way. I wish it came out in April. That'd be great. I don't. Looking at the roadmap, I don't think so though. Here, I'll drag it over. And we can have a little look. Like the middle. So like we're not really even in spring yet. So self-found is like end of winter, which is that's when we're getting it at the end of winter. Level 50 is going to open up sometime in the middle of spring, and then sometime towards the end of spring we get the pre-patch. And then sometime in the beginning of summer, like summer starts on June 20th. So like the release date for Cataclysm launch can't be any sooner than June 20th. If it is exactly the 20th, then it seems likely that we'll get the pre-patch like what, 4 weeks before that. So it could be the end of May. It could be like the middle or end of May if they want to do like a 4 or 5 week pre-patch. It really depends on how much time they want to give us for pre-patch, So it really depends. All right, I'm gonna make all of these. I'm gonna step away for a minute. I'm gonna take like a little bit of a break here, and I'm gonna refill my coffee. So I'm gonna put the break screen up, and I'll be back. It won't be too long, probably less than 10 minutes. I'm gonna get a snack while I'm at it, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Alright, we are back. So, let's see. Let's sell the bandages. Maybe we can keep a stack of them. I don't even know if we need a stack. We haven't really been using them. And it could be better just to sell them.
How are you?
We got a lot of ore. And I could probably just do some blacksmithing with it and see if we can get some skill ups.
Be good.
We need to be at the forge. There we go. That's a good point. Keep some copper bars for when or some copper for when I want to smelt bronze. Yes, I should hold on to some of the bars. Do I need bars or do I need ore? I need to hang on to the ore, don't I? Or do you smelt tin and then copper bars into bronze? I need the bars. Damn, I just burned through all these. The next time I smelt a bunch of copper, I will set them aside. And we'll keep them. We haven't been finding a lot of tin yet. I only have 2 tin. Which is kind of crazy, actually. I guess I won't start getting a lot of tin until we're like in Red Ridge or wetlands. But yeah, the next time I do a bunch of copper, I will not use it all. I will save it. That being said, let's sell all these belts.
What can I get for you today? Keep your feet on the ground.
I did get coffee. Yeah. I broke down. Yep, that's what happened. No willpower. Not when it comes to coffee. This will be my last mug for the day, though. I say my last mug because later on I'll have 1 cup of coffee. This will be the last time I fill this mug. Oh my god. Oh, I'm not fighting you because I am like 90% sure that you can't even come up onto the land. So we are not doing that. How long will it be before they reset, though? That's a question. I'm assuming he's gonna have to reset eventually. He can't get to me. He's just watching me from the shoreline. That's like super creepy. There he goes. He finally gave up. Yeah, truth be told, I did not get a lot of sleep last night. We had a really crazy storm front that came through. It started around like midnight, 1 o'clock, and it was a huge thunderstorm front. It was so loud, like thunder that was just like non-stop shaking the entire house. And it went on until about like 3 in the morning. It was finally done. So, like, I was awake for the majority of that time. And then I slept in until like 10 o'clock. Which I don't like to do. But even that did not get me like all the sleep I needed. So more coffee is probably essential at this point. Especially if I'm playing hardcore. We've got this one back here too. We're gonna have to like, maybe we pull him out. Let's pull him out a little bit so that we can get to that caster without running into the other guys. I'd also like him just to not be able to cast at us for a second here. Okay, well, that worked somewhat. What a jerk. I guess I didn't tag it. There we go. That's called karma. He thought he was gonna sneak in there. I thought he was gonna sneak in there, but he didn't. He aggroed somebody instead. All of these guys should respawn any second now. All the bodies are gone. Any minute. We need 5 and 5. Fighting them here is much better than fighting them in the cave. What's my favorite zone to level up in? Probably like in the whole game. If we're talking about like the whole game, probably Eversong Woods. The Blood Elf starting areas. If we're talking about vanilla classic era, probably like Elwyn Forest or Mulgore. Here we go. Minea, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. It was right here, standing in this exact spot, that my human mage, hardcore mage, we disconnected. There was a lag spike on the server. By the time I was able to get back into the game, we were dead. It literally happened right here in this spot. So I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen again. On a melee character, if I were to lag out and disconnect, we'd probably come back in and the enemy would be dead. But yeah, my mage had just hit level 20. I was super excited to get my first teleport, and then we died due to a disconnect. It was the first and only disconnect death that I've ever had in hardcore, if you can believe that. Oh, we're done. We are all done here. We can get out of here. We're going to go over this way, and we will turn in the Crocolis quest. Somehow I managed not to sell the meat for that, which is really surprising. We'll turn in Bingles, we'll turn in the Crocolis hunting, and then we got to head all the way back over here to turn in Defense of the King's Lands. After that, we're done with green stuff here, except we do need to go after the miner's gear. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna do miner's gear before we're done here, just to get all the green stuff done, and then we could head back to Darkshore. We have Westfall. We could maybe check out Red Ridge. I don't know if we're gonna have any green quests to do in Red Ridge or not. Wolf Sword, this is a hardcore server. So this is an official Blizzard hardcore server. And so any character created on this server follows the hardcore rules. And the main rule is that once you die on this server, you cannot be rezzed. But yeah, that applies to any character created on this server. Once you die, you can't be rezzed. Starting on Thursday, there will be an additional option when you make a character here. You'll have an additional checkbox to click if you want to do self-found. Doing self-found, not only does that mean that, you can't die, self-found means you cannot use the auction house,
Off and away.
and you cannot trade with other players, and you cannot use the mailbox.
Have a great day now.
So on Thursday, you will have one more modifier that you could use to make your run even more challenging. Ah, level 20. Very nice. That's a pretty decent milestone. If we're talking about the official option on Thursday is self-found, not SSF. SSF implies solo self-found. They're not restricting grouping with the checkbox. So the checkbox on this server is only going to indicate that you can't use the auction house, you can't trade. You can still group up. They're not enforcing any restrictions on grouping. So even if you're doing a self-found character, you can still group with other people if you want to. You just can't trade with them, use the mailbox, or the auction house. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to do a solo self-found run. So I'll check the box for self-found, but I'm also going to restrict myself from grouping with people in the open world. Maybe I'll restrict myself from grouping at all. We might not do any dungeons on that character. We might do like completely solo, completely self-found. But that would be like an additional option that I would be putting on myself. Let's see, let's start going into Improved Blessing of Might. We're going to want 5 points in that eventually. So it's like Iron Man mode in RuneScape? It may be, I'm not sure. I've never played RuneScape, you'd have to tell me.
I supply only the finest goods.
Don't I want to get Consecrate? Not really, because I don't know that I'm going to be tanking any dungeons. Yeah, I don't think I want to waste the point. I would get this if I thought I was going to tank some dungeons. I would get this, but I don't think I'm going to. The problem, dungeons are a big risk. Like, firstly, they're a big risk. Also, look. These are the people looking for dungeons right now. This is everybody. So this is an add-on that parses looking for group, okay? And this is showing me everybody who's on right now who's looking for groups. There's not a lot of people looking for groups. That's one of the biggest reasons why I think like pulling the trigger on a solo self-found run is going to be really easy. It's also the reason why I'm not planning to do any dungeons on this character. Because there aren't enough people playing hardcore to really make that viable. There's no, like for instance, there's no one here looking for Dead Mines. And Dead Mines is the first dungeon you can do. So if you don't see people looking for Dead Mines, it's just like, it's not a very popular mode of the game right now for people to play. It's hardcore is almost becoming more of like a spectator sport. Where like people seem to enjoy watching it, but not as many people are choosing to engage directly with it. So, yeah. Which is fine with me. I've like, if I want to do 5-mans now, we have Sod. You know, if I want to do classic 5-mans,
How are ya?
I can jump over to Sod. We can grind up a character in dungeons. Like, we basically ground up our Paladin from 25 to 40, only doing 5-man runs.
See you soon.
So I've kind of gotten my fill of 5-mans for now.
Safe travels. Watch your back.
Alright, so that's turned in. We could grab this quest. I'm not sure, like, maybe I'll come back and do it when I'm a much higher level. Like, when we're level 25 or 26, we could probably solo it. For now, we're going to get this one turned in, and then we have to head to the north to take on the miner's gear. Ooh, we got tin over here. Definitely need the tin. Sorry, I saw a thumbnail opportunity. The two-handed axe is pretty nice. For right now. It's probably got about 5 more levels of usefulness in it. And around the time we're level 25, we'll probably want to start looking for an upgrade. The good news is, since not as many people are playing hardcore anymore, the prices on the auction house have come way down. So you can actually get decent blues for relatively affordable prices. Every once in a while you come across an item that's obviously overpriced. But there's a lot of affordable options. Especially when you're a paladin, you're not going to have to worry about saving up money for your mount. And we got 15 gold here. I have 13 gold on a warrior. I have 8 gold on my hunter. We have 38 gold across all of our characters. Which is, it's not a lot, but it's a little bit. It's a decent little chunk. What a polite spider. He waited for us to finish mining the one node. What actually happened, I think, was that he missed. I don't think he was actually being polite and like letting us finish. I think like I heard like a sound effect. I think he missed us. I think he did try to interrupt us. It just didn't happen for him. Though it did look like he ran up to us and stood there and waited. That is what it looked like. He knew about tags. Oh, he tagged it. I gotta wait. I gotta wait. He said tag. He tagged it. That got an LOL out of somebody earlier. And then he accidentally aggroed a mob. this stream is chill 80% of the time. You know, there's like a 10 to 20% of the time when I'm ranting about something.
Safe travel.
The chillest part of the streams happen in the afternoon. If it's morning time and I'm fired up about something, then some would say that it's not as chill. But the afternoons are typically always pretty chill.
Great to meet you.
By the afternoon, any manic energy I had has run its course, basically. Alright, so we are going to head all the way up here. We have to do this one, and then I think we'll be ready to leave. I kind of think that we actually have to go back to Darkshore before we do anything else. I feel like there are some level 15 quests that I didn't pick up. We could probably have a look at the map. Let's see. Level 17, Cave Mushrooms is green. Yeah, Fruit of the Sea is green. I think that's the right move. I think after we're done here, I think we need to go back to Darkshore. We'll do everything we can in Darkshore, and by then, we'll be ready to tackle the rest of Westfall. And probably start doing some stuff in Red Ridge. I think I did like the really low level stuff in Red Ridge. Like there were like a couple of level 15 quests that I'm pretty sure we already did. For Messenger to Stormwind, I never do the Messenger quest. That probably won't change this time. Assessing the Threat is level 17. Red Ridge Goulash is level 18. Free lunch and dry times. I probably won't do dry times. And a free lunch is just like a little breadcrumb. So we're good for now. Though Hillary's necklace, maybe I do have to do a little pit stop in Red Ridge before we go to, so maybe Red Ridge for a minute. I could do the messenger quest. It's just a little bit of running around. Dry times. I don't know if I want to do dry times or not. I don't have any hops. Is it online or offline? It's online. Yeah, it's an MMORPG. There's not an offline mode. just feel like for us to not have found any crates yet, somebody must have just been through here. Usually you see at least one of them pretty early on. But then all these guys are alive, so it couldn't have happened too recently. Primordial Star Wars The Old Republic had a cool system like that from what I remember. That allowed you to have like a legacy of characters that shared the same last name. At least I think it was SWTOR. I don't think I ever really took advantage of it because I only played the one character, but that was pretty cool. Oh my god. Somebody just pulled this entire camp and then they ran away. I wonder if they got away or if they got killed. It looks like they came from this direction. I don't see a player or a body. So maybe they escaped. They either escaped or they died up on that hill behind us.
What can I get for you today? Off with you. You got my attention. Watch your back.
Alright guys, that is it for Loch Modan for now. I am going to hearth us back to Sentinel Hill. And I'm going to take a break right there for today. Next time, we will head into Red Ridge. We'll do a little bit in Red Ridge. We'll head over to Darkshore. We'll do some more in Darkshore. And yeah, that is the plan. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate the support and you guys being here. As always, take care of yourselves out in the real world and take care of each other. And we will see you back here again very soon. Bye for now.